Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, we're learning new information regarding the breaking news scene out of New Britain that we first brought to you in our earlier newscast. Thank you so much for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Annette Montgomery. Now, police confirm 4 people are recovering in the hospital after they were found with stab wounds at a home on Allen Street earlier this afternoon. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi joins us live after spending hours in that neighborhood speaking to people who live nearby. Now, Valerie, I know that scene just cleared up about an hour ago.
Yes, Annette, that is correct. And it is quiet now and the roads are back open. Officers were here for about 7 hours. And people I talked to actually tell me they've never heard of any problems at this house. Around 2 p.m. Friday afternoon, New Britain officers were sent to 53 Allen Street following a 911 call from the house. Information is limited, but police say they found 4 people suffering from stab wounds and they were taken to different hospitals for treatment. Police later determined the incident was related to a domestic violence situation.
It was very shocking. Very shocking. A little distressed with my grandfather inside.
Kyle Northup has lived in the area for 7 years and says he's never seen anything disturbing coming from the house. So the news came as a shock.
I see them in and out. Usually no ruckus, no attention drawn to anybody. So it's really, really quiet. You could come out here, walk your dog, walk with your kids. Never no loud music. It's just very quiet. A lot of working class people, so it's very concerning.
Police say the suspect remained on the scene during the investigation, and he was later detained. Now, police have not released the conditions of the victims at this moment, and of course, the stabbings remain under investigation. For now, live in New Britain, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Well, we had a chilly start to October, but if you're a fan of the warm weather, don't worry, it's coming back this weekend just in time for all the fall activities. So let's check in with meteorologist Sam Sampieri for our first check of the forecast. Sam, how warm is it going to get?
Well, we're thinking about the middle of August, temperatures up into the lower 80s. Good evening, everyone. Let's do the corn maze forecast. It's that time of year, you know, harvest time. Beautiful time of year to be outside. And look at these temperatures. Highs tomorrow, 82 and possibly mid-80s for Sunday. Look at the temperatures this evening. Very mild, 53 Granby, 59 at the airport, 61 in Avon, 52 in Meriden, 58 Brantford. So temperatures basically in the 50s to lower and middle 60s across the area. High pressure in control right through the weekend. So overnight, temperatures will fall off a little bit more down into the 40s in many locations. We'll have clear skies, calm wind. That allow for some radiational cooling, even though it is mild. We have a mild air mass. Sun up tomorrow at 6:51. Warmer up near and over 80. Going down tomorrow evening at 6:27. Temperature profile. Take a look at these beautiful temperatures under golden sunshine. Bright and blue sky, too. Enjoy the fall foliage. Coming up, I will let you know when our next chance for rain will occur. Details on your Fox 61 7-day forecast. Annette?
Thank you, Sam. Well, the woman accused of holding her stepson captive for more than 20 years appeared in a Waterbury courtroom today. Kimberly Sullivan was arrested in March after a fire at her home where her emaciated stepson was discovered. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules was at the hearing and shares the latest.
The hearings focused on 3 motions, 2 from the defense and 1 from the state. The big takeaway, Sullivan is now allowed back in the home where police say she held her stepson captive. Kimberly Sullivan was back in a Waterbury courtroom for the first time since March. She faces several charges, including assault and kidnapping. Her attorney, Giannis Kaloidis, filed 2 motions. One of them calls for a change to the protective order against her. That order lists Sullivan's stepson as having the same address as Sullivan, so she was not allowed to return there to collect her things. The judge approved the request. The other motion calls for Sullivan's GPS monitor to be removed. Kaloidis says she's had several issues with the device and called it an inconvenience.
We don't think there's any need for that bracelet to be on. There's no need to track her movements. There's no threat to the public or anyone.
The motion was continued until Sullivan's next court appearance. Her attorney says he is confident the motion will be granted. Meanwhile, the state filed a motion to block the defense from accessing the medical records, address, and name of Sullivan's stepson. Sullivan's attorney filed an objection to that.
He's making these allegations. He's going to have to take that stand. He's going to be cross-examined. There's no hiding.
Koloidis believes there's no reason to shield the accuser's identity.
My client has a right to confrontation, has a right to confront her accuser in a public setting. If her accuser wants to hide and be anonymous, well, that's not how this works.
The judge also continued that motion. Sullivan was arrested in March after a fire at her home. First responders discovered her 32-year-old stepson, who weighed only 68 pounds at the time. The stepson said he started the fire to gain his freedom. He detailed years of abuse inside that home going back to when he was 11 years old. Koloidis says the allegations have turned Sullivan's life upside down.
She's done nothing wrong, and the evidence against her is lacking, to say the least. Okay, it's based on one person's allegations, and the more we dig in, the less credible they are.
Sullivan's attorney says they have every intention to fight these allegations and are prepared to take this case to trial. Sullivan is expected back in court on October 31st. In Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
New tonight, a Ridgefield woman has been arrested for allegedly poisoning a bottle of wine with antifreeze. Kristen Hogan is charged after her victim who drank the wine was hospitalized for ethylene glycol poisoning and placed in the ICU. Police say Hogan searched online about lethal doses and court penalties. She admitted to poisoning the victim but claimed she didn't intend to kill him. Hogan faces 2 counts of attempted murder and is now being held on a $1 million bond. A Simsbury man has died after a crash that happened earlier this week. Police say 44-year-old Colin Stephenson was reported missing on September 30th. Officers used GPS and license plate readers to trace his location. They eventually found his car off the road and hidden in the woods near Bushy Hill Road and Overlook Terrace. Stephenson was rushed to St. Francis Hospital, where he later died from his injuries. Tonight, Simsbury police are still investigating the crash. A North Haven man is behind bars tonight for sharing an intimate video without consent. Police say 24-year-old Winston Bethune was responsible for making the private content public back in August. Bethune is now charged with dissemination of an intimate video. A lawsuit has now been filed against Trinity Health, claiming a patient got a brain injury after St. Francis Hospital waited too long to treat her for a heart problem. The lawsuit alleges a patient was left waiting in the hospital's emergency department with chest pain for about 6 hours. Even after some cardiac tests came back as abnormal, the lawsuit claims the patient then went into cardiac arrest and was resuscitated. But she was left with a brain injury and now has cognitive impairment and recurring seizures. We have reached out to Trinity Health for comment, but have not heard back yet. And in other health news, UConn Health says it will submit a bid to purchase Waterbury Hospital next week. The group's board of directors, finance corporation board, and board of trustees all approved the deal today. Right now, Prospect Medical Holdings owns Waterbury Hospital and 2 others in the state, but the company filed for bankruptcy earlier this year. UConn Health says this investment will preserve access to health care in the Waterbury region and meet its growth needs. Over in Bloomfield, nearly 240 union members at Cummins Jacobs Vehicle Systems are now on strike, and it started at noon today. The members of United Auto Workers 379 said Cummins hasn't made any substantial progress negotiating with them after over a dozen bargaining sessions. The workers said they want better pay, more sick time, and better job security and benefits. On top of that, the workers claim Cummins has engaged in unfair labor practices, like changing contracts, retaliating against employees, and making bad faith bargains.
As you can see, we're all passionate. I mean, this is our livelihood. This is what we live off of. You know, we want to put in our 40 hours and enjoy our time like everybody else.
And the union said over 98% of its members voted to authorize the strike last month. Earlier today, we received a statement from Cummins Jacobs. A spokesperson says the company has been and continues to engage in good faith negotiations with union representatives. They go on to say the company remains committed to exploring all available options to reach a mutually agreeable agreement, and it's working to schedule another meeting with union members. Well, the day is here. We're talking about deployment day for hundreds of Connecticut National Guard troops. They're shipping out to the Middle East to support security efforts in that region. But before they left the state, they received a send-off from the governor and other state leaders at Bradley Air National Guard Base. Fox 61's Joe Monti was there and has the story.
On Friday morning, Governor Ned Lamont and other officials met with more than 200 National Guard troops before their deployment to the Middle East.
You represent the very best of America. Thank you. I know what you mean for the state. You were there during Ian, the terrible electric outage and the flooding and COVID, and now you're going around the world to keep us safe.
Troops from the 1st Battalion with the 102nd Infantry Regiment arrived in full gear at the Bradley Air National Guard Base in East Granby, where they waited to be deployed. They'll be stationed in places like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Jordan, and other locations for nearly a year. Major General Fran Ivan talked a little bit about what the plans for the troops are.
They're going to do some base defense. They'll do a lot of security. When we talk about counter UAS, they'll do some work in that area as well.
UAS stands for Unmanned Aircraft Systems, like drones and other military surveillance and attack equipment. The deployment is happening in the midst of a federal government shutdown. Governor Lamont spoke briefly about that.
You get paid in arrears, but sometime middle of October, it could be jump ball. But I can tell you we're doing everything we can to make sure they get paid.
Troops got to talk with the governor and shake his hand. They also got the opportunity to talk with other state leaders. The troops head to Texas first to train for the next couple of weeks. Then they're off to the Middle East. Major General Ivan has been with this group for 25 years, since his deployment to Afghanistan. He watched and led the group while they served Connecticut communities in times of disaster. He had one final message for the troops as they get ready to defend America abroad.
Stay focused on your mission, and do great work. Make Connecticut proud.
These troops are supporting Operation Spartan Shield, which was designed to strengthen American alliances in the Middle East and Southwest Asian countries. Governor Lamont says the state and the country owes these troops a great deal of gratitude. At Bradley Air National Guard Base in East Granby, Joe Monti, Fox 61.